What's up guys, welcome back to the ChargeGo channel, and in this video we're going to talk about our Rivian delivery and purchase process and about the 3 or so weeks that we've had the Rivian so far and some interesting issues that we've had with it. So watch this video till the end to hear all about it, and as always, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to leave a comment, and please subscribe, we'd love to have you, and hit the notification bell. So let's get into this video. So we had the Rivian delivered on February 21st, specifically the evening of February 21st, and you can check out our delivery day video on that. What we didn't cover on that video is, of course, the whole delivery process in terms of payment, purchase price, and all those sorts of details. And in this video, we're going to cover exactly that. So let's look at the exact Rivian package that we got. So we got the adventure package and quad motor all-wheel drive with a large battery pack, and I'll get into the rest of the details in a minute. But one important thing to keep in mind is that we placed this order in February of 2022. That was when Rivian's prices were a lot lower than they are now. Specifically, in March of 2022, the company announced huge price increases across the board. And right now, if you want to get the package that we got, you would have to pay about $19,000 more. So we have a video on that too if you want to check it out. So specifically on our vehicle, we got the adventure package with quad motor all-wheel drive, which was the only option available at the time. Dual motor wasn't available yet at that time. And we got the large battery pack, glacier wide exterior, 22-inch sport dark wheels and tires, and our black mountain plus dark ash wood interior. Included in the package that we got, the adventure package, is the tow hooks, and the tow hooks are in the front of the car, and the manual tonneau cover we ordered, but it hasn't been delivered yet. Rivian said they're working on delivering those to everyone who ordered one. Even if they get the truck before, they're going to ship those manual tonneau covers to people's houses. We actually got the powered tonneau cover, the automatic tonneau cover, but Rivian had an issue with those and has halted production of them until they resolve the issue. In the meantime, what they did was replace everyone's order for a powered tonneau cover, which is more expensive, with the manual tonneau cover, which is less expensive. And that's what they did for me. And we could look here that the vehicle subtotal came out to $75,800. Now, we also added a wall charger. This was another $500. Now let's take a look at what the total price came out to after taxes. As now you can see that it was $76,300 like this. But after taxes, what it actually looked like was a lot more, because we live in the state of California here in ChargeGo, and in California we have very high sales tax, 9.5%, which is very high compared to other places in the United States. So here you can see that the cash price total was $76,300, but the vehicle subtotal was $75,800, with the EV charging station being $500. Then Rivian adds all these fees: destination fee, documentation fee, and then there's a service contract, but it says that's $0. But then there's the vehicle sales tax. That's for California, 9.5%. That comes out to $7,378.65. So over $7,000 of sales tax was on this vehicle. And the trade-in tax credit was $0 because we didn't do a trade-in. And then it gives here a sum of all the taxable fees and charges that, of course, can be taxed. Now, accessory sales tax, that's for the charging station. And the total cash price at the end, with all the taxes and fees included, came out to $85,596. But then there's the California DMV fees. There's a vehicle license, registration, and titling fee. That was $1,250. And the tire fee, don't know what that is, but that was $7. So the total at the very end, the absolute total, came out to $86,853. Now, we put a down payment on this car and are paying monthly payments to cover the rest. Now, thanks to a great video from our friend Dennis, we were able to secure a 2.99% interest rate on our loan for this vehicle through a bank called Tower Federal Credit Union. Now, this bank's rates just skyrocketed almost immediately after we got our loan approved for 2.99%. So we were very fortunate in that sense. And if you are able to find a good rate on your vehicle, that you'd be very fortunate in this market environment. I should also remind you guys that we also did a binding contract to purchase the Rivian back in August. Now what this was, that during August of 2022, what was going on was that the United States Congress was debating to pass the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, and in there were massive changes to the tax code regarding the electric vehicle tax credits or the clean vehicle tax credits. And in order to ensure that, or help ensure that EV purchasers in 2022 who may get it delivered in 2023, in order to ensure that they would fall under the EV tax credit rules of before the Inflation Reduction Act, Rivian sent out this binding contract to purchase, as did some other companies, which essentially you gave a non-refundable fee, and in this case it was $100, and you signed that paperwork. And what it did was help ensure that when it came time to get the EV tax credit for buying an EV, the federal tax credit, of course, you would fall, or in this case, we would fall under the old rules. So under the rules where we would just get the $7,500, no question asked about things like income, those sorts of questions, which are now in place due to the EV tax credit rules that were placed under the Inflation Reduction Act. And it has all sorts of rules about where the vehicle is manufactured and also a max limit on MSRP. So we've had the Rivian for now almost 3 weeks. What I have to say is that it has been an absolute pleasure to drive this vehicle in the streets of California and to go off-roading as well. And we did a few off-roading trips, nothing too crazy, but we just wanted to test the vehicle out, see how high it could go, the suspension, things like that. And it was doing an absolute phenomenal job. There have been a couple of quirks, I cannot lie to you. So now the very first thing I noticed is when I got home under the light of day, the PPF on the gear tunnel, the paint protection on the gear tunnel on the left-hand side of the vehicle was actually kind of peeling off. It was not placed in an ideal way. So this threw up an immediate red flag for me, but I contacted the Rivian Service Department, which is 24/7, you could call them, and they told me that I could fill out a service request, take a picture of it and put it in, and they would take care of that. And they said that it would be free. And sure enough, I did do exactly that. I took a picture of it. I sent a service request through the Rivian app. And sure enough, they set up an appointment for me where I took it in. And it was a very quick process. They just replaced the PPF on the whole gear tunnel door. And I was all set to go. And it looked perfect now. Instead of peeling off and having a little dirt under it, it looked absolutely perfect how it should look. Now, and that was not the only thing that was weird about the Rivian so far. One other weird thing that happened with the Rivian was that one day after it being parked, and I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but it was after a rainy day. After being parked for hours, I went in to turn on the vehicle to drive somewhere. And interestingly, the vehicle said that the all-wheel drive is disabled and only two-wheel drive is available. And it said, please take the car to service, or please take the vehicle to service. Now, that's interesting enough on its own, but then it also had another pop-up message that said, vehicle unable to drive, contact tow truck. So even though it said it could still do two-wheel drive technically, it said not an option, contact the tow truck, and then that's your only option at that point. That's what the vehicle was saying basically. But it was very weird. It was completely out of the blue. The car didn't feel weird at all when driving it. So I called the Rivian service number, the 24/7 number, and they told me to do a hard reset of the vehicle. And to do the hard reset, I had to press the emergency button and the very left button on the wheel of the vehicle at the same time and hold it for, I believe, about 5 to 10 seconds. And the vehicle does a hard reset where the entire computer system of the vehicle resets. So I did that, and the vehicle turned up, and sure enough, the vehicle was back to normal. There was no issues as I described before, and it was able to drive completely fine, four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and I never got that issue again. It was only that one time, and after the hard reset, I never got that issue again. Now, that was issue number 2 of 3. The third issue, this is a minor issue, it seems. I hope it's a minor issue, but what it was after having the vehicle parked for hours, I went to the vehicle, and what I noticed was that the screen, both the screen on top of the wheel and the screen for the infotainment system on the right-hand side of the wheel, were on bright. And the screen on top of the wheel was saying that all my tire pressures were 0 psi, and I need to get the tires some air. Now, this was absolutely weird because the tires did not seem that they're at 0 psi. They look perfectly normal externally. And this was completely strange. I never would have thought I would see this issue in a vehicle. But sure enough, I opened the door and I basically was about to put it in a mode where I was about to drive it, and the issue went away, and it didn't have any more issues with the tires. And after driving for a bit, it showed the tire pressures, because of course it doesn't show the tire pressures immediately, and the tire pressures were completely fine. So there were these couple of issues, and of course, other than the PPF issue, these two issues are all software issues, and I'm 100% confident that with over-the-air software upgrades over time, Rivian would ensure that these issues don't happen again. And as far as the PPF issue, that happens, and thankfully Rivian replaced it for free, and the only hassle was driving it to the service center, but they're able to accommodate a time that works for me. Of course, the only service center hours are during regular business hours for the case of replacing the PPF. I don't know if other service items might be open to other times, but for the PPF, I had to go in during business hours, and they replaced that, and it was a half an hour process. Now, the vehicle itself is absolutely phenomenal to drive, and everyone who's been in the vehicle is absolutely impressed by both the external and internal and technical components of the vehicle. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that this is a pickup truck, but it does not feel like a pickup truck in many cases, especially when you're accelerating. You can never find a pickup truck that could accelerate like Rivian can accelerate with the 0 to 60 of 3 seconds. I mean, come on, that's unbelievable. And the torque is insane. The horsepower of 835 horsepower, that's absolutely wild. Now, it also has, of course, features like what Rivian calls highway assist, which is Rivian's version of enhanced autopilot. Now, it's not as sophisticated as Tesla yet, but it's getting there. And there have been cases where it's been really sunny and some glare has been coming to the front of the vehicle. And when I try to engage the highway assist, the vehicle says that there's glare on the camera and it can't start the highway assist. And there have been some cases like that, and perhaps that'll be solved with over-the-air software update. And other few cases that have happened is that sometimes it says that it can't detect the lanes, but the lanes are clearly visible. And I'm assuming with the software update that'll get resolved as well. Now, the highway assist feature does not yet have automatic lane changing like Tesla's enhanced autopilot does, but hopefully that'll come at a later time through an over-the-air software update. Other things that I hope come with the software update: the ability to see your gear guard footage, which is Rivian's version of Sentry mode, the ability to see your gear guard footage with the software app. So I hope with the iPhone app, you'd be able to see the camera footage of your vehicle. Now, Tesla has that, but it didn't have that all the time. Tesla got that not too long ago either. So hopefully Rivian gets that in the near future, where you'd be able to see a live feed from the cameras of your vehicle on your phone. And other things that I really appreciate about this vehicle is how you could take it off-roading, you could take it camping, you could take it to the beach, you could drive it over sand, and it's absolutely reliable. One thing I'm waiting on is for the ability to order the spare tire, just because the tires on the vehicle are not run flats, and I always want to have the comfort of knowing that I have a spare tire if I don't have run flats. So the spare tire package, which of course comes with the kit of installing the spare tire, is not yet available on the Rivian website, and I hope it comes up soon, so I'd be able to order it. My overall thoughts on the vehicle is that it's an absolute blast to drive. As you can imagine, a 7,000 pound vehicle that can go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. I mean, come on. As one passenger put it, it feels like a roller coaster. So make sure you stay tuned to our channel because we're going to make a lot of more videos on the Rivian, actually driving the Rivian off-road and on-road, testing it out with some sports cars, the 0 to 60 speed, of course, and other features of it as well. And make sure you stay tuned to our channel because we're also going to have a video on the Ford F-150 Lightning soon too, an F-150 Lightning loaner that we got from Ford. So make sure you stay tuned for that video, and you can judge for yourself whether you think an F-150 Lightning is right for you or the Rivian R1T, or are you waiting out for the Tesla Cybertruck? Leave a comment down below and stay tuned to our channel. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell.